Hello, this is our final video of our series of video about making your first Phaser game. Remember, I'm following a tutorial from the Phaser website of the same name, an official tutorial made by the author of Phaser, Richard Davey. In this last video, we are going to add the bouncing bombs. If you remember from the first video, the challenge of the game is that you collect all the stars, and when you collect all the stars, new stars appears, and a new bomb is thrown to the level, spawned to the level. So you have to you have to continue taking the stars, but you have to take care of not touching the bomb. If you touch a bomb, the game is over. So if you collect the stars again, a new bomb appears, and so on. So maybe if you are very good, if you are so good collecting stars and avoiding the bombs, you will get a lot of bombs in the game. So the idea is how much points you make. What is your score, your higher score. So let's see how Phaser, this Phaser tutorial is going to do that. Remember, in Phaser Editor 2D, sometimes I do the things different from this tutorial. Okay, the first is creating the bombs group. It creates the bomb groups. It will add a collider of the bombs and the platforms, because in this group will be creating the bombs when thrown to the when are spawned to the level. It will add a collider with the player and the bombs. If a player collides with a bomb, it will call the hit bomb callback. This is the method. This method in this method, it will stop the game. The physics of the game will set the player with a red tint, will play the turn animation, and will set the game over flag. And the other rule is, the other question, this is about when the player touches a bomb. And this other subject here is about when you collect a star. If all the stars you collect here, if all the stars are inactive, it means all the stars are collected, then you enable the stars again, you throw the stars again to the level, enabling the body, and you throw a bomb, and it spawns a bomb into the world. A bomb that it makes the bomb with the bombs group. It set the bombs, it said it collide with the world, it says a random velocity, and the position of the bomb is, if the player is at the left of the screen, it will spawn the bomb at the right of the screen. Or if the player is at the right of the screen, the bomb is spawned at the left of the screen. So let's see how we are going to make it with Phaser Editor. So the first is have the editor here, Visual Studio Code here, running the Webpack development server. Let's add first. What I'm going to make first is, if the player collects all the stars, it will throw the stars again. Here in this is the level, plus the others. Remember here, updating the star, we have a method. The method collect a star. It will say if no star active, if there is not active star, it will reset every star, all stars. I'm going to implement no star active method, it will iterate or start. Remember, we have the stars in the stars layer. Let me set it with a class scope. So it is available here. If we start in of stars layer list. Come on, man. Let's code this. Okay, good. If the star is active, if it is not active, if it is active, return false. And I think return true. It says if I find a star that is active, then they are active star. No star active is false. If I do not find any active star, this is complete. Reset all stars. What I'm going to do is iterate all the stars, and I want to reset that for star in of this stars layer. Let's do something here, because here the star is of type game object, but I want to make it, I want to cast to curse the type as a star prefab. So I will say reset star. In this reset star method of the prefab, I'm going to say, remember, I should put it inside the user code in the same way I did the collected. I will enable the body. When the star is collected, it disables the body. Now, if I want to reset the star, I want to enable the body again. I said true, where in the same position it is a star, and the Y will be 0. Enable the game, yes. Show game object, yes. So I think that that's it. If no star is active, I will reset all the stars. Let's test it here. Collect the star, collect the star, collect the star. Boom, all the stars again. So it is working. I just implemented the first rule. Now, what I want to do now is if I collect all the stars, I will spawn a bomb into the level. First thing I will do is to create a layer, a bombs layer, bombs layer. I will use that layer, so I will make it in the class scope. I want to put it below the score test here. So I will add all the bombs in the layer, and I will create, well, later I will create a collider of the bombs with the platforms, because I want the bombs to be jumping with the platforms. Collider. Bombs, platforms, collider with the bombs layer. With the bombs layer, remember, I have to use the list and the bombs layer and the platforms layer. We have that the collider, and I'm going to make then here Visual Studio Code. If no star active, it will spawn the stars again, and here I will spawn a bomb. How I will make that bomb? I will make a prefab. You know, every object here I make is a prefab. A bomb prefab. I will look for the bomb image. I want to make it type, replace type, an arcade image. By the way, if you, instead of add a texture, an image texture, you look here for adding an arcade image. I don't see this very well here. Arcade image here. It will ask for a texture for that arcade image, so we have there the arcade image. It is a dynamic, it has a dynamic body. Let's see what more it have. Here a bomb. Look, here is when in the tutorial it creates the bombs. Okay, it's a bombs one. Let's look for the bombs. One, and it's a collide world bonds of our prefab. Okay, and velocity will be a random velocity in the X and a 20 velocity in the Y. I will set that here in the prefab. Let's open the prefab of the bomb prefab. I will set in the constructor here in the user code that we will have a velocity. Look, all these parameters, it's generated by the editor, but this one that is random, I will write that myself. This is velocity. I think that's all here for the bomb. So I will here in the level spawn the bomb. I'm going to do this. A bomb, new bomb prefab. This is scene. Look, when I write this bomb prefab, it has to import the prefab, the bomb prefab. It is generated by Visual Studio Code, not Phaser Editor, else Visual Studio Code. So I have to put it here in the user imports because I imported that. So I will say in the bombs layer, I will add the generated bomb, the new bomb. And I think that's all. Let's try here if this is going to work. I'm collecting the stars. A new bomb here. Oh, but remember, I'm missing something here. I have to place the bomb here. I will explain this here. Let me show you the X of the bomb. It says if the player position is in the first part of the screen, at the left of the screen, it will use, and here it will use a random body between in the second part of the screen, at the right of the screen. And if the player is in the right part of the screen of the screen, it will pick a value for a random value in the left part of the screen. I will name this bomb X, and I will set bomb X here and 0. So let's try now. We have a new bomb there. Let me collect again all the stars. Look, if I can't touch the bomb now. Hey, hello, come on here. Come on, bomb. It is not doing nothing. Hey, it's hard to think. Look, it does nothing because I did not implement it. Okay, I get new stars and a new bomb. I want a new bomb now again. Good. More stars, more bombs. Okay, that's working. That's working. Now, what is missing is to implement that when the player collides with a bomb, is game over. Look it here. No, here. I add the collider, the player with the bomb, with the bombs, and with a callback, a collide callback, hit bomb method. That it reset. Pause the physics, set the player tint, red tint, and play the turn animation and the game over flag. Let's try to do this. First, I will add the collider. Look, what I do here is to add. I have an add object command. Here, I press the A key. So look here. And I show this palette command. Here. Command palette. Add object here. Okay, look, it's easy. So, okay, I will add a collider or collider. Player bombs collider. Object 1 is the player. Object 2 is bombs layer, the list of bombs layers, and the collide is hit bombs. Remember, I want to cast it to the any type for making it compatible with the TypeScript definitions of Phaser. So hit bomb, the hit bomb collider, and the callback context is this. Okay, I have to implement it. Let's open Visual Studio Code. I will implement the hit bomb method, the player prefab bomb prefab. Good. I will say player die. I would use a method here, player die. Hey, come on. Super auto completion. The player die. Let me create that method here in the player. Player die. Here. Player die, it means I will set the tint, red tint. A red tint. Let me look here. What more do we have to do? Play the turn animation. Play the turn animation. It is imported here, so in the user import, so that's okay. So we have the player die, Player dies. Here I have to pause the physics. Pause. And I should set the flag game over. Why we need this game over flag? Let's declare it here. Look, I'm defining this field in the user code. Look, there are other fields here, but those fields are generated by the same compiler. It's generated by the editor, the Phaser editor. And when the game over is true, what I'm going to do is that I do not want to process more input. If is game over, return. I do not want to continue with the update method. I think that's it. Let me test if it is going to work. Game over. Well, I think that's it. It's the end of the tutorial. Here in the Phaser tutorial, Richard Davey recommends you to take a look to a Facebook Instance Games tutorial getting started for making here a scoreboard and play that with the friends in Facebook. I think that's it. I enjoyed a lot to making these tutorials. I had to record that very late in the night or very early in the morning, but I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it too, that you see how you can use Phaser editor for making this I think more friendly for you. Especially I recommend using Phaser editor 2D for two main reasons. First, you are making the levels with a visual tool, so at the end what you see in the editor is what you get in the game. Second point, that you can use Phaser editor 2D because you have a team and one developer in the team can create the prefabs, can create the user components. User components is another tool of the editor, so you can have another guy making the levels that he doesn't need to code. He can just create the level, adding the objects to it. Let's look here. There are another tutorials. For example, I would like to publish this game in GitHub page. There are a tutorial for making that here in the channel. So like this video, follow this channel for new tutorials because I will going to make new tutorials, and tell me something in the comments. Goodbye.